Hey guys, the Drell here, getting ready to show you another game in my Reviewish series. This one is a really good one. I like it a lot. My friend Josh and I actually, we started out with our first episode of our podcast trying to pitch a great game with good survival and interest and fun that doesn't exactly get boring after a while. And I think we finally found that. In fact, we pitched out a game that we thought would work. If you want to see more about it, go ahead and check out that podcast episode. I'll try to remember to put that in my in the notes down below, so that you can go ahead and check that out. It's really good. The game that we pitched, we found out literally 2 weeks later that there was a game that was exactly what we were looking for, and that game is Astroneer. Astroneer at first glance is a basic space survival game. You arrive at your location from a capsule that lands at a random place on your planet, and as soon as you exit the capsule, you're in a struggle to survive. You dig for resources, you expand your base, and look for research to increase the options that you can build when you're expanding your base. And you generally explore, looking for interesting things that the developers have left for you. Now, the overall look of the game is great. It supports the concept of exploration. Astroneer sports a colorful, flat-shaded look with a hard-edged polygonal style. Colors are bold and very bright. They offer a lighter feel to the game, where a lot of survival sandbox games usually look either dreary or realistic, or in some way emphasize the aloneness. This game makes it more about the adventure and the exploration, and supports that with the bright colors. With that, because of the brighter look of the game, it's much easier to locate and identify resources in the world and to dig them up. Digging is also a very natural and satisfying thing. You come standard with a special tuba-shaped gun, which allows you to essentially dissolve the ground around you. It also gives you the ability to smooth out and build up platforms for you to climb to get around. This is another deviation from the norm, where quite often when you're doing resourcing, it is a challenge, but in this game, it's actually very satisfying because it's such an easy process. And more often than not, I'll find myself wanting to go out and dig out resources that I don't even need, just because it's fun to do. Besides the discrete modules that you get from digging up resources, you have two other resources to keep track of: oxygen and power. If you don't have power, you can't dig. If you don't have oxygen, well, the results are pretty obvious there. These two specific resources can be found around the environment, but are rare and usually deep underground. And they will keep you alive for a period of time, but generally speaking can only get you so far. To get yourself power, you can produce that by building solar panels, wind farms, or generators on your main base, which can be supplied through the network directly to you. Or you can build yourself a small solar panel to strap to your backpack, which will generate power for you directly if you're standing in sunlight. Oxygen is a little bit simpler, but definitely necessary. You have a steady supply of oxygen from your base. You also have a small tank on the back of your backpack to maintain several minutes of life if you are not connected directly to your resource network. Oxygen is also supplied constantly from any vehicle, whether it's the capsule that stands as the center of your base, or if it's a vehicle like one of the rovers or your spaceship, you do have options for getting oxygen supply. Your base can be expanded by building offshoots in a modular way, and then build larger platforms from which you can build manufacturing support, like the fabricator or the vehicle bay, to name a couple. There are a few other things that you can unlock through research. Research is something that you get by digging up these special capsules that strap onto the research platform. You can also build tethers early in the game, stands that you stand up, and when they're within range of a resource, another tether, or your base, they will maintain a connection to it through which power and oxygen are supplied. These are necessary to expand your reach in the game and to explore farther into the world. as you can't go very far without a steady supply of oxygen. You will spend a lot of time building up a large spidery network of tethers to get from one point to another. They're also good for location finding because if you get lost, you can just follow the tether back home. As I said before, I really do like this game. Survival games in general lack staying power to me. I mentioned this in the podcast. I'm still not 100% sure why, but even though I really like the concept of sandbox survival, I haven't found anything that holds me for long periods of time. Generally speaking, after a few hours of play, I get bored. This game does something a bit different though, and in that its colorful, lighter tone and the satisfying way that you gather resources encourages you to keep playing. You don't feel tired after a while. You can just keep digging and having fun. Everything about it provides some sort of satisfaction. They've got a solid foundation to work from here. This game is early access and it is very buggy right now. There's a lot of frustrating things that can happen to you. But I still keep coming back because it promises so much more. And the developers are constantly releasing new updates. There's even experimental versions which you can play to explore what they're working on now. Even something as simple as the backpack. It's a good idea that's solidly implemented, and while it is buggy and there's definitely flaws, it looks like it's just a few refining steps away from a very good idea. And most of this game is made up of those great ideas that just need that little bit more refinement, and you can see that they're actually making that refinement. So do I recommend this game? Yes, I absolutely do. It's early days yet, and don't expect this to be a AAA title, but get it. If you get it now, you'll enjoy it now, and as they add to it, you'll continue enjoying it for years.